If you are struggling to manifest your desire and something unfortunate has happened to you that has really shaken your faith in the manifestation process, well then this video is for you, because I'm going to help you understand what's really happening so that you can not only feel a genuine hope return in your state of being, but also so you'll understand what to do next to get back on track to truly manifest your desire. Hey guys, this is Tom. If you're new to my channel, I make videos that help you empower your higher self and manifest your dream life. If you'd like to win 60 minutes of one-on-one coaching with me, comment below. It is done. Winners will be announced every week. Let's give some examples to set the scene of what I mean by a backlash. So let's say you're manifesting a specific person and you're making really good progress, you're feeling internal shifts, you're really connecting to it on an emotional level when you think about it, when you visualize about it, and you even see some progress. Perhaps you're trying to manifest a successful business and a certain amount of money, and you have an interest, someone is willing to invest in your startup, and you get them right to the line, and you know it's happening, you can feel it's happening, and then they go cold and leave you with no hope and no leads. Perhaps it's an ex-girlfriend and they reach out and start communicating with you, and it's this light bulb moment of this is really working, and you're so enthused. And then the very next day it all comes crumbling down. Say a fight breaks out in the communication and she distances herself again, or you get reblocked instantly to find it was a mistake. Something disheartening like that. That's a backlash there. An example in my own personal life is growing my coaching business. When I first started out, I was lucky. I had lots of interest and I had a client willing to be my first paying client. I was super happy with that. I told everyone, and then all of a sudden they slipped away and they decided they were going to cancel, and took me a couple of weeks to build up before I got my next paying client, for real. The theme of a backlash is that they're highly disheartening and they really hit you in the core and you're really disappointed, and it's hard not to feel negative and frazzled by them and sad and defeated, especially because there's often a period of positive momentum and emotional connection that precedes them, giving this sensation of perfect unfoldment and empowerment and hope. And so that's why they're even more crushing when these negative results come in. So that's some examples, but let's define backlash as a simple definition. Well, on the dictionary, one definition would be a recoiling mechanism within some kind of device, so to recoil. And another definition would be a strong negative reaction to something. Now this could be within yourself or within the external world. But it's inside yourself where a backlash is most important, because when these backlashes happen, they usually start in the external world, but they really hit you deep within yourself. They hit a fragile point within your psyche. Some past trauma is there, some limiting beliefs are there, and you've done so well to expand in a positive way towards your desire, but then this backlash, this negative event, really hurts deep. And it reminds me of this book I was reading called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And he talks about an inner thorn. And it's this idea that there's some kind of trauma within us and some negative beliefs or emotional energy that's trapped within us. And we're still working it out of our being. We're working it out of ourselves when we're changing our subconscious mind and empowering ourselves towards our desire. But there's this leftover energy still within us that hasn't been totally resolved. And because this inner thorn is still within us, we are partly fragile, and a part of us still has to work through this, and that's totally normal. We'll probably have inner thorns to some degree for the rest of our lives, in truth, unless you become totally spiritually enlightened, and then even then you hear about the fact that they still have personal issues to deal with. Now, why do I mention the inner thorn? It's because your internal conception of yourself equals your external life. It's a mirror. The outside world is a mirror of your internal state of being, your beliefs, your emotions, and your actions. All that forms your state of being or your conception of self. And so this outer thing may seem random, may seem sudden, but what it really is that something within your subconscious conception of self is being triggered, and it's desperately trying to fire out and sabotage you in the external world to trigger you to react negatively and be really disillusioned by this, so that you are propelled back down, so that this inner thorn can rest within you once again, harden, and take control of your life. Now let me get up a diagram that I sort of drew before this video. It's not the most clear thing, but it sort of explains further what's going on and why this is normal and why you can feel really good about the fact that you've just gone through a backlash. Okay, so as you can see, there are a number of blue horizontal lines that kind of look like piano sheet music or something similar. And then you've got a series of black dots. Now these black dots represent you and the frequency that you're at. Each blue line represents a higher and higher level of frequency. Now, frequency, what we're talking about is your thoughts, feelings, and actions. That's your frequency, which equals your conception of self, because who you believe you are is the sum total of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Wherever your frequency is at equals the black dot you are and the line you are on. Now, as you can see on the left, tools like imagination and affirmations can shift your frequency because they program new thoughts, feelings, and actions within your subconscious mind and raise you up higher and higher. Now, the blue lines not only represent frequencies, but they actually equal life tracks. By life track, what we mean is a series of present moments that you expand through one after the other, leading to certain results. So if you're at the bottom left black dot and you don't do anything, you just stay as you are, you will just keep expanding along this frequency, the bottom frequency, which equals a corresponding life track, and you will get results that relatively harmonize with that frequency. And that would be what is housed in your subconscious mind. The reality would reflect that exactly. But then we reprogram ourselves and we're aiming for the desire, which is located on a higher frequency and a different life track of reality, a different set of present moments, in other words. And our desire is there. And so we have that desire, whatever that is, the business, specific person, the healthy relationship, the physical health, the money, whatever it is, that's our desire, that's our star. And we start using our techniques on the left to reprogram ourselves to raise our frequency. And this is what happens. We're feeling so good. We're making progress. We're making emotional connections. Things are working out well as we raise ourselves higher and higher. So we move to the second dot, and that's when we're feeling really aligned and something good happens, a really promising event happens. But we raise ourselves too quickly, and we haven't fully adjusted to this new frequency. We haven't fully impressed our subconscious mind and been able to live in the end as that new frequency, as that new conception of self. There's still thoughts and feelings and therefore actions within us that don't fully harmonize with this frequency. And so there's a drastic spike back down. And this is where we drop out of alignment with our desire along to the second lowest blue line, and we are at a lower frequency, and this is when we feel really defeated, we feel really bad within ourselves, and it really hurts because we thought we did so well to bring ourselves up, but now we find ourselves back down, dealing with those thoughts, feelings, and actions that still are yet to be resolved within us, connected to our deeper insecurities and issues. But notice that even though we fall down and we miss that opportunity, we're higher up than where we first started. And so once we process this defeat, which I'll explain in a second, we process the backlash and we keep going and we move ourselves up again and we drop down a little bit less. As we become more and more pure, there's less of us to change and shift within our subconscious conception of self. And so we can gradually drop down less and recalibrate until we are consistently in alignment with that desire, in that frequency, in that state of being, in that conception of self for enough time that we know it is true, there's nothing resisting it, or there's no inner thorns left within us that clash with our desire, and so it is allowed to flow in to your reality. And that would be the life track of your desire, and you meet that star. Okay, so I hope that made sense, but as you can see, this is a process. And some law of attraction or manifestation teachers can act like it's not a process, that you can just simply imagine once and impress your subconscious mind and it can just completely manifest for you. Of course, that is possible, but it does ignore the fact that we are emotional creatures with past traumas that have gotten deep within our subconscious selves. And that's true of all of us, and we all have issues and we're all imperfect. And I readily admit that I'm imperfect and that my life is not perfect. And I'm just doing my best to show up every day and expand to better versions of myself and higher frequencies in my state of being. And it's an ongoing process for anyone. And so it's absolutely normal that you had this backlash, you experienced it for one, and that you feel so bad about it. You feel disheartened by it because it does hit and it does get in deep. On the flip side though, it's extremely positive because you are still not your old self. You are still higher up. You are still shifting within your subconscious, and your manifestation is still closer than it ever has been in your life. And from this knowledge, we can process the emotions more smoothly by giving ourselves permission to understand that it's normal, it's okay, things are not catastrophic forever. It's part of a process, and that we will soon be back up again on the incline towards our manifestation. Now, maybe that's it. Maybe it's one more incline and it comes in. It just comes in the next time. Who is to really know? No one can predict the length of time that it will take for your manifestation to appear. But the point is that any backlash doesn't mean absolute defeat. It's still extremely possible and positive for you. So here are 3 tips that now that you have this background knowledge, you can process a backlash more smoothly. Number 1 is take time. Realize that you need to slow down a little bit in pressuring yourself to see results, and look within and inspire yourself and get those emotions, those past traumas and emotions out of your system. By looking within, this is journaling, looking at those beliefs. Why is it so sad? Why does it bother you so much? Etc. And seeing that, oh, it's because of this issue or that issue. Well, I don't believe that about myself anymore. Let it go. Or simply cry. Cry and feel bad and be with the feeling fully so that the energy of that lower frequency can leave out of your consciousness for good. Purge it away. Or get in touch with inspiring people and inspiring figures who have been through such stories and journeys, and see how in their own lives they experienced defeats and they still got up again. And realize that a part of this process is that for you, and this is part of your story. Tip number 2 is persist. This is from the Napoleon Hill book, Think and Grow Rich. And it does seem very 3-dimensional to say, you've got to keep doing it, you've got to keep showing up, you've got to take action. When, manifestation these days is all about flowing and it's already done, and you can just exist as you are and you don't have to do anything and it will appear. That is true, but also it is also true to take certain actions that get you back on track. Whatever that means for you, if it's specifically your imagination practices, if it's looking after yourself in your everyday life, or if it's specific tangible actions that you can take to make your manifestation appear in your life more likely. For example, if it's starting a business and you've got all these tasks to do, start taking action and persist, get the ball rolling, and even that action itself will clarify this energy because you will be persisting past that block within you, that inner thorn, and it will have to leave your body because this action is saying, I believe I am the new self. And finally, think more generally. Let go of that specific defeat, that specific instance, or this specific episode of backlash, and go way beyond, go big, go general, and just see how much your life can change in 5 or 10 years. where all of the details that you're juggling and dealing with and processing are no longer relevant, and you can just go, it all worked out. I assume it all worked out. At the biggest level, I know that by that point in the future, I would have done everything it took. I would have learned all the lessons. I would have purified my own consciousness. My conception of self would have been empowered by then, and reality must reflect it, because I won't give up. I will persist. I have the tools and mindsets, and that's that. So connect that bigger picture vision of life. A part of this is to also let go of the seriousness of life and realize that life really does flow quickly, and soon you will not even remember this past struggle. There'll be so many amazing wins and experiences for you to learn as you manifest not just the current desire you want, but many more desires above and beyond that. Alrighty guys, I hope this has helped you understand what a backlash is in the manifestation process, how to deal with it, and you feel more positive and more faith. Keep going, you're on the right track. Please like this video, please comment below it is done if you'd like to win the free coaching session with me, or check out my website where I've got some amazing coaching offers for you at the moment, and stay tuned for more videos in the future.